Hi, my name is Louis Rodriguez with ABC Contractors, LLC, and we flip houses. I was looking at a website called lawdictionary.org and decided that I should say that this video is not legal advice, it's general information. If you need legal advice on a specific transaction, please see an attorney. Now, I want to talk to you about a time that we bought a house that sat on two lots. Now, we bought this house, this beautiful house, closed on it and started working on it. And after we started working on it, we realized that the contract that we used to buy it only gave us one lot where the garage was. It did not give us the house. So we had to rely on the goodwill of the seller to basically give us the house. If he hadn't have done that, we would have been in a world of hurt. So just goes to show you the importance of reviewing the contract. So today we're going to talk about how to review the Texas Real Estate Commission contract, also known as the TREC contract, and how to do it very quickly because time is money in the real estate business. You can get the contract from www.trec.texas.gov. Now, according to the Texas Real Estate Association, realtors should be making offers using this form, so it should be very familiar to you if you buy or sell houses. So the first thing you want to do in reviewing a contract is you want to focus on the check boxes and the filled-in dollar amounts. Not so much the verbiage, but the boxes and the fill-in-the-blanks. The second thing you want to ask yourself is the form filled out accurately? And finally, the third thing is you need to determine if the numbers and the check boxes are favorable to your transaction or at a very minimum acceptable. If the price is good, they may not be favorable to you, but they might be acceptable. So this is the TREC contract, and basically in this second line here, second paragraph, you want to make sure that the legal description is correct. So if you're buying two lots, you want to make sure that you're getting sold two lots. Accuracy is important in this legal description. In section 3, which is the sales price, obviously that speaks for itself. You want to make sure that you're getting the right sales price. In section 5, you want to make sure that the earnest money is at least $1,000 or 10% of the sales price, whichever is more. Just so it's painful for the buyer to back out of the transaction. That said, I want to jump to line 23, which is termination option. What is termination option? This is where the buyer gives you a check for like $100. What are they doing? They're buying time to back out and get their earnest money back. So usually the option period is about 5 to 10 days. Maximum 14 days. You don't want this period of time to get too drawn out because then it draws out the whole process. The reason they need this time is they need to get the house inspected, because if there's a problem with the house that they don't know about, they want to have the opportunity to back out of the deal. So with the termination option fee, they don't get that back. They're just buying the option to back out. Line 6, who is paying for the title policy and who's paying for the survey? That all depends on the price. You might be willing to pay it. You might not be willing to pay it. Line 7, what that is basically, are you buying the property as is, or are you going to insist on certain repairs? So if the buyer's buying with repairs, then the seller is going to be obligated to do those repairs. If the buyer's accepting the property as is, That doesn't really mean as is if they have an option period. Why? Because they're going to get the house inspected. They may determine that it needs a bunch of repairs, and then they're going to hang that option period over your head and say, well, if you don't get this stuff repaired, I'm going to back out. So at that point, the repairs become a negotiable item. So very important. Then if you look at line 9, which is the closing, you want to make sure that the closing date is not too far out. Line 10, when are they going to take possession? Usually upon closing. Line 11, very important. Special provisions, they can write anything in here that they want. So you don't want this to be, to where, if you're the seller, that they're obligating you to cut their grass for the next year. Something like that. You need to read what's in here. Line 12, this is a very important box here. This basically is an amount that says you're going to pay the buyer's closing costs. So it's going to affect your bottom line. You may be willing to do that if the price is right, but you do need to consider, if there's an amount in this box, you need to consider it. So basically, those are the important items in the contract. Remember, before you sign, down here at the bottom, you need to make sure that you have looked at all the check boxes, you've looked at all the dollar amounts that are in the blanks. You need to make sure that the information is accurate and that is acceptable to you based on the price that's being offered.